Herpes zoster. There's a huge possibility that you've probably had chickenpox once in your lifetime, either as a baby or an adult, but if you think you're in the clear, then I'd hate to be the bearer of bad news. You see, the virus that causes chickenpox can keep living in your nerve cells long after you've suffered from chickenpox, but they remain dormant or inactive. However, the minute you hit your late 70s, they reappear because your immune system is not as strong as it used to be. But this time, the virus manifests as shingles, a pus-filled blister accompanied by itching, prickling, and a severely painful rash, described by patients as a sharp shooting and burning pain. If you have shingles, the first signs would be an intense electric shock sensation and burning pain in the area where the rash develops. And that's not all, you would also experience intense burning and stabbing nerve pain that would last weeks, and due to the constant pain and discomfort, sleeping would be very difficult. Heart attack. Your heart is like a big, vacant house that needs constant oxygen and nutrients to keep things running smoothly. But one day, there's a big storm, and all the oxygen is cut off. So within a short period of time, all the appliances break down, and an emergency threatens to bring the whole house down. Now, this is precisely what happens during a heart attack. The big storm is the sudden buildup of blood clots that causes a blockage in the heart's oxygen-rich blood vessels called the coronary arteries. If the blocked artery is not opened within minutes to allow oxygen to reach the heart muscles, your heart cells will deteriorate and die off. And the longer the blockage persists, the more extensive the damage. So to put it simply, a heart attack is literally your heart fighting for its life. Heart attacks are sudden, but there is always a telltale sign of extreme chest pain. It is majorly caused by excess fat and cholesterol, and when it strikes, you would feel like someone stuck a fist into your chest and is just twisting your heart. The good news is that the pain only lasts for a few minutes, because you'll be dead shortly after without immediate medical attention. Kidney stone movement. You're at home having a nearly perfect stress-free day, binge watching your favorite TV show on Netflix, but you suddenly feel this sharp pain in your lower back. But think it's probably because of all the intense couch sitting you've been doing. So you try to adjust to a more comfortable position, but then the pain starts to move. Your nearly perfect day has just turned into a horrifying nightmare because a 6mm kidney stone that has been incubating in your kidney for weeks just got bored and has decided to go on a bit of an adventure through your urinary tract. However, this little adventure is not fun at all, but feels like a little knife cutting and slicing through your urinary tract down to your bladder. Some people liken the pain of passing a kidney stone to giving birth, but at least with childbirth, you'd have a cute baby at the end. The worst part of this pain is that no medication can provide total relief, so you have to bear the pain still and pray the stones come out quickly. However, if the pain becomes too unbearable, then you could always opt for surgery, after which healing is also quite painful. So this is pretty much a lose-lose situation, sadly. Tetanus. You must have seen horror movies where a priest casts out a demon from a host. The reaction of the host as the demon leaves their body is exactly how someone infected by tetanus behaves. While the reaction in movies is simply for entertainment, the reaction from tetanus is real. Tetanus, also known as lockjaw, is a fatal bacterial infection caused by the bacteria Clostridium tetani. Tetanus infection begins with getting a cut, possibly sustained from stepping on a rusty nail while walking barefoot, or getting a scratch from a rusty metal door, which leaves you with a bruise. Once the bacteria gets into the body through the open cut, it releases the tetanus toxin, which attacks the central nervous system, which is the part of your body that makes you do all actions that keep you alive, like walking, eating, sitting, and swallowing. The bacteria is so cunning because you won't feel anything is wrong until after a few days, when your body begins to stiffen up and contract in severe pain, starting from your jaw and spreading to the neck, arms, and legs. Eventually, the muscle stiffness becomes so pronounced that your neck and jaw are locked in place, with your facial muscles frozen in a creepy grin. Cluster headaches. Think about the worst headache you've ever had. Imagine the pain, what it felt like. Now multiply the pain by 100. This scratches the surface of how intense and painful cluster headaches are. Cluster headaches are rare and extremely severe headaches that can cause intense pain in or around one eye or side of the head and often feel like hot iron is being pushed into your eye. When the headache starts, it occurs in groups or clusters between 5 to 10 minutes for up to 8 times per day. and this searing pain can last for weeks, and sometimes months. You may even feel relieved for a while, but just as soon as you think you're free, it'll return with full force. Attacks may be associated with eye redness, tearing, and nasal congestion on the affected side of the head. People who suffer from cluster headaches are usually restless and agitated when going through a phase, and most describe the pain as a knife sawing through their skull, just zigzagging its way through your brain. Fibromyalgia. Let's say you've got the flu, a hangover, PMS, and sunburn, but in and outside of your body. Now combine all these, then crown it off with being hit by a bus. Then we can be close to feeling the chronic pain of a fibromyalgia patient. Fibromyalgia is also called pain syndrome and is classified as a central nervous disorder. Basically, the part of the brain and spinal cord that processes pain is seriously messed up. People with this syndrome may look normal, but are constantly going through excruciating, widespread muscle pain and tenderness, so severe that touching them feels like they're being skinned alive. The syndrome is also associated with fatigue, brain fog, and mood swings, which leave them exhausted no matter how much sleep they get. Sadly, there is no cure for fibromyalgia, so you will have to live with it for the rest of your life. Stonefish Sting. You have a school project in biology class, so you head out to the beach and pick up seashells or small marine creatures when you mistakenly touch a rock. But a few seconds later, there's this unimaginable pain shooting up your entire arm. Well, the so-called rock you touched was actually a stonefish, a master of camouflage, and one of the most venomous fishes in the world. The stonefish would camouflage itself to look like a rock for defensive and attacking purposes, so you could look right at it and still not know you're looking at a stonefish. This fish has 13 stout spines in the dorsal fin, which injects a highly toxic venom that causes intense pain and swelling at the site of the sting. Within minutes, the swelling and pain would spread to your whole leg. The pain would feel like you got crushed, burned, and electrocuted all at once. But this is just an appetizer. The main dish tastes like breathing difficulties, bleeding, diarrhea, abdominal pain, and nausea that could last several weeks after the sting. Basically, it's out to serve you the meal of a lifetime, and a severe phobia for rocks and their lookalikes. Appendicitis. Let's say you're having a busy day in the office when you suddenly feel this acute pain around your navel and lower right abdomen. Walking, coughing, or pressing the area feels like your insides getting cooked with many chili peppers. Literally. You quickly run to the ER where the doctors inform you that you have appendicitis, a common condition that causes the inflammation of the appendix. You see, having an inflamed appendix is likely due to a blockage from fecal matter, digestive tract infections, or bowel disease. The obstruction would trap mucus and bacteria inside your appendix, and that's what causes all the pain you feel. The pain is also accompanied by acute abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, poor appetite, fever, and chills. Fortunately, appendicitis can be treated by a medical professional via surgery and antibiotics. But if it's not caught on time or treated promptly, the inflamed appendix can rupture, causing the infection to spread into the abdominal cavity. This is definitely not something you'd want to happen, because it could potentially leave you in a hospital's critical unit for a while. Irukandji jellyfish sting. You're swimming in the bright, clear waters of Australia, splashing around, when you feel a tiny, nearly painless prick on your right foot. But you make nothing of it, because the prick does not give off any pain that is worth your panic. However, 20 to 30 minutes later, you start to feel severe pain in your back and stomach, accompanied by muscle cramping, much more intense and agonizing than a tetanus infection. The searing, intense pain you're feeling is all from that nearly painless prick you felt earlier, because you've been stung by the Irukandji jellyfish. This marine terror fires their stingers into their victim, causing a condition known in humans as Irukandji syndrome, which has been described as a feeling of being burned alive from the inside. As if the raging pain, muscle cramping, and other complications are not enough, a feeling of impending doom creeps up on you because the venom from the jellyfish contains specific molecules that can artificially induce a psychological sense of doom. People who have been stung by the Irukandji are so sure that they are going to die, and would even go so far as begging their doctors to kill them, as death is a better relief over what they're going through. Corneal Flashburn. You know when you've had a long day at the beach without wearing sunscreen and your body turns red like a lobster, or you get so sunburned that blisters start forming? Well, imagine all of that, but then put it in your eye. The cornea is the clear outer part of the eye that helps your eye to focus light so you can see clearly. So a cornea flashburn is exactly what it sounds like. It's a flash of really bright light so bad that it basically just burns your cornea off. Well, you can bid farewell to seeing for a while and hello to eye patches, because bloody, pus-filled, and teary eyes are just the beginning. The cornea flashburn will happen if your eye gets exposed to welding torches, UV lights, lasers, tanning bed lights, and even looking at the sun can cause this harrowing experience. Now, the toughest part about the corneal flashburn is that although your eyes are perfectly capable of healing themselves, anytime you blink or open and close your eyes, the whole healing process that occurred would basically fall off, restarting the entire painful process again. Sciatica. Sciatica has been experienced by at least 40% of people in the US and can strike anyone at any time. The good news, however, is that it typically goes away over time, but it comes with an absolute, completely debilitating pain. The sciatica nerve is one of the most important nerves in the human body that travels along your spine to each leg. And as one of the main nerves, if something goes wrong with it, you can be sure it's going to let you know with as much pain as it can produce, which is a lot. It would feel like an electric shock down your spine, legs, and buttocks. The condition is typically caused by a harrowing spine, herniated disc, or bone spur, all of which would cause the sciatica nerve to get compressed, and if there's one thing nerves don't like, it's getting squeezed. But what can you do when the thing bothering your nerves is your own body? Well, not a lot in most cases, and doctors only consider surgery if the pain is not something you can manage, because messing around with your spine or disc is not something you'd want to go wrong. Executioner wasp sting. There is no better name for an insect that is bent on killing other insects and inflicting excruciating pain upon humans. The executioner wasp looks nothing like the medieval executioners, with a black, scary, ugly hood to conceal their faces while carrying a long, sharp axe to slice off the head of their victim. In fact, the insect is quite beautiful, with a yellow and brown color and a body size that grows up to 2 inches long. However, do not let its bright colors fool you, because this insect is nothing short of a bioweapon on wings that would come at you so fast with its 2-inch long stinger. The venom of this wasp is a complex mixture of bioactive compounds that contains neurotoxic peptides that target its victim's nerves that it stings. As a wasp stings you, its venom is injected into your body, and the drama unfolds almost immediately. When you get stung by an executioner wasp, you will feel intense, severe pain and swelling that kicks in instantly and can last for days. The sting is also accompanied by itching as the venom begins to circulate across your entire body and causes pain that feels like you've been hit by a train. And then, as a cherry on top of this pain sundae, you will suffer fever, nausea, and vomiting. The executioner wasp is definitely going to leave you with a memory that you will never forget. The sting of the executioner wasp is ranked among the most painful and venomous of the stinging insects in the world.